Yo, Early, give me the keys to one of them rides, man.
Just where the you think you're going?
What you doing?
Working on this paper on Grandpa Elijah.
I mean, you know I was his favorite.
I talked to Grandma, Uncle Marvin, and Uncle Lou. They gave me what I needed.
So these were two exclusive clips that were released by Black Tree TV. I will be linking both of the videos down below in the comment section and also in the description section for those who do want to see the full clips. It was only a very short 1-minute clip of Rock and Kanan, which gives us a different perspective to anything we've seen before from the trailers and teasers. But based on this clip, I've got some questions in regards to, first of all, the timeline. We also know their relationship is going to be really complex because of Howard's death, so we definitely need to hear them have some difficult conversations. In terms of the second clip, Unique is finally awake, and Ellie Tyler is a man who seems like he's the one who's helped him, which is definitely what we predicted before, Ellie Tyler or Panessa. So we are going to be breaking down these conversations, scenes, and everything that we should be looking for moving forward with Rock and Kanan, and also Unique and Ellie Tyler, in all things Raising Kanan Season 4. Now it is clear that Kanan is still living with Rock at this moment in time at the beginning of Season 4. It seems like he's back home, but we don't exactly know where this is in this timeline at this moment in time. Is there going to be a flash forward a few months? Because based on the trailer, it does seem like Rock and Kanan are in business together. That makes me think at some point they're going to be moving the story on. I'm pretty sure whether it's in episode 1 or 2, they'll be answering where they are in the timeline, especially based on the clip with Unique and Ellie Tyler. I'm sure someone's going to say it's been a month since Howard's death, for example, or it's been 2 months, 3 months, or 6 months. After episode 305, when we went into episode 6, we heard Panessa say it had basically been a week since anybody saw Unique. So Raising Kanan normally are pretty good at making clear where they are in the timeline. But over here, we've got Kanan writing a paper on Elijah Thomas. It seems like that's one of his assignments from school, something Kanan's never really took seriously. But in terms of Elijah Thomas, it really is good to hear his name again.
Kanan, Elijah Stark, get your ass down here.
Kanan's middle name, his grandfather's, and we did learn a little about Elijah Thomas throughout seasons 1 to 3. Lou mentioned how his father knew his way around music. He used to take Lou to the studio. He also mentioned he used to box, but he did also mention in conversation, Elijah Thomas basically gave up on everything. But considering Kanan's writing a paper on Elijah, he said he spoke to his grandma Joyce Thomas, Lou, and also Marvin. It does seem like we are going to learn a little more about his backstory from a few different perspectives, not just Lou. I think so far we've only heard Lou's. Rock does mention in this clip that she was his favourite, but Kanan being Kanan, he's just not interested in what Rock has to say, and clearly there's still a lot of tension between them, you can sense it. No matter how much Rock tells him that she loves him, there's still a lot of tension because of her lies, manipulation, and some of the things that she's done. She's made some really difficult decisions, for example, making the call to get rid of D-Wiz, because if she didn't, it would have had to have been Kanan. That's what Rock does, she makes difficult decisions, and it's going to be no different in season 4. I believe there is a scene in the trailer where Stefano even mentions he should be thankful that his mother is Rock and that she loves him. So no doubt, it does seem like she might have to save him again. He's someone who's still raw, in training, learning, adapting, so he is going to make a few mistakes. Now of course there are some things which she's done which is pretty messed up to say the least. I mean, where do we start? There's a long list. From keeping him to his real father, to putting a gun in his hand to get rid of him, putting a gun in his bag, I mean we can go on and on and on. But at the end of the day, she does love Kanan. But where does their relationship go from here? I think we do need to take a look at it from two different angles, the short term and the long term. In the short term, I do think they are going to be working together. I do think they've already hinted at it in the trailer, teasers, and also the synopsis, that there will be some kind of unity between the Thomases. They're going to be attacked from every single angle by Unique, so they will need to show a bit of unity. But in the long term, this is where it's going to get really interesting, because this is the season where Kanan turns from a pup into a wolf. This is the season where he starts to become his own man, and makes his own decisions, which I do think will be fueled by Snaps and Pop. Them asking the question in regards to how does he want people to see him in the streets. I think we all know the answer. He wants to be feared, he wants to be respected, but can he really be his own man if he's in the shadow of his mother? I think that's a long-term kind of question, where eventually you do see a scenario where she's moved out of the way. Rock will eventually have to make way for Kanan to grow under Breeze, build his relationship with Ghost and Tommy, which I do believe will be in Origins. So in the long term, I can see Kanan going behind Rock's back to Stefano, trying to make a few plays, eventually trying to climb the ladder. In the short term, I think they're going to be in business together until it goes absolutely pear-shaped, because we all know it will. Rock will make a decision that Kanan doesn't agree with, or she'll keep another secret. We know the drill. But moving on to the second exclusive from episode 1, which is Unique waking up.
I gotta let Vanessa and Jerome know I'm alive. Doc says you in the danger zone. Need to stay your ass in bed.
Now in this clip, Unique looks really battered and bruised. He's stumbling up to Ellie Tyler, who I did say was the most logical answer in terms of who could have saved him. I named both Ellie Tyler and Panessa, but based on this conversation we can rule out Panessa and safely say it was just Ellie Tyler, because Unique does mention he needs to let Panessa know he's alive. So at this moment in time, Panessa has no idea. Like I mentioned before, from 305 to 306, it had been a week, and God knows how much time has passed in season 4 episode 1. So Ellie Tyler might be the only one who knows Unique is actually alive, which is very interesting. We've already spoken about how he's going to be able to move under the radar, fuck up Rock's organization, and she wouldn't even think twice to name Unique. He can literally move invisible as long as he doesn't get caught. However, in episode 1 it does seem like there's going to be a big question in terms of how he survived, which is going to take a while. He really does look like he's in a bad way at this moment in time, stumbling all over the place. He wants keys to a ride, he wants to get to Panessa and Jerome, but the condition that he's in, he's going absolutely nowhere. So I don't actually know whether we'll see Unique up and running in episode 1. Let's see whether they jump forward in time. But Sasha Penn is sticking to what he said before in terms of they will be giving us the answers as to how Unique survived. There's a portion of season 4 that actually explains how Unique survives and helps the audience to understand the journey, because we felt strongly that we didn't want this to be just some sort of bullshit. So this is what it is, this scene, and definitely everything else that we see play out with the Doctor and whatever else we haven't seen. It will help us understand how he survived, how Ellie Tyler helped him, and also where his mindset is. I do think that's the big thing. Him recovering physically is just half the battle. Mentally is the other half. And how does he cope with that 50%? How does he cope with knowing Ronnie was the one who tried to take him out? Or trying to kind of piece the puzzle of what happened? Does he even remember, or has he got some sort of memory loss where things are just kind of blurred and all over the place? He's trying to piece the puzzle together, but because of the state he's in, he can't make sense of everything. So I do think it's important to understand recovering physically is going to be very different to recovering mentally for someone like in Unique's position. Now, just the last point on Ellie Tyler, he does also mention to Unique he wants to be paid, and that takes us back to his character description. He's got a very high financial price, but a good friend to have in your corner if you can afford his price. And at this moment in time, Unique hasn't paid him nothing. So let's see how Unique also handles this situation. But that's a breakdown of these 2 exclusive clips from season 4 episode 1. And I'm sure it's not going to be the last. We're 2 weeks away from the premiere, and there definitely will be a lot more promos in those 2 weeks. But drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Let me know what you think we could learn about Elijah Thomas, and where do you think they go with Kanan and Rock's relationship in the short term, but also in the long term. In terms of Unique, they're definitely going to give us a lot of answers in episode 1 in terms of how he survived with Ellie Tyler's help. But where do they go from here? How will he cope mentally once he's recovered physically? Drop all your thoughts down below in the comment section, and as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.